Millions of Jasons. Jasons for thee. Millions of Jasons. Jasons are free. Let's talk about Dark Matter Season 1, Episode 8. Hey everyone, it's David Stark from Watcher Pass. I'm here to talk to you about Dark Matter Season 1, Episode 8, Jupiter, which is releasing on Apple TV Plus on June 19th, 2024. It is the 8th episode in the Dark Matter series. I was wrong. There's 9 episodes. I've been saying there's 8. I thought there were 8, but there are 9. We have 2 more episodes left. Well, now 1 episode left after this one. It is building towards a very, very big finale. And is this episode worth it? Does this episode continue the Dark Matter train? Well, my hot take is yes. I definitely think you should watch it. It is a fantastic episode. It is just a great way to lead into what I imagine is going to be a very big finale episode where the concepts that we've all been learning about kind of finally come home to roost with a chaotic, tense, and fulfilling ending. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was a really great episode, and it really kind of continues the things that they have been talking about in this series. And so now we get to see them in practice, and it is a lot of fun. So definitely you should watch it. If you haven't gone on the Dark Matter train, this is a really good series. It's been fantastic all the way through. And so I definitely think you should watch it if you haven't started, but if you've been watching it, you're going to want to watch this and the finale next week. So, all that being said, I'm going to tell you a little about the episode, a few things I liked, a few things I didn't like, and then really quickly go into a recap. So, as you can imagine, there will be spoilers in the recap section. If you don't want to know what happens in this episode, you probably don't. There are some very big surprises along the way. Then I would turn it off when I get to the recap section. Before that, though, I'll keep it vague. I'll keep it spoiler-free. I'll let you know when I get to those spoilers. So, in Dark Matter Season 1, Episode 8, it continues from the big conclusion of the last episode where you had 2 Jasons that were seemingly identical going into a store almost back to back, and they did the exact same thing. They were thinking the same way, and you're like wondering what is going on. Well, this episode answers that and inserts a whole new bunch of questions. It starts with a really chaotic opening and just kind of continues all the way through. So things I liked about this episode: the first, what an opening. That opening really just kind of like grabs you unexpectedly and just like fully commits you to this episode. It is exciting, it is violent, it is a really good way to start this episode, and also to like really bring home some of the big conflicts and issues that we are dealing with. The second thing I love the concepts. It feels like everything about the series, everything they've been kind of like talking about is amplified in this episode. It kind of takes it up to 11 in a lot of ways. So I really like that. It does feel like this episode kind of like ups the temperature towards a very, very big finale. The third thing I loved the chaos. It is chaotic. There's a lot going on. It is easy to follow, but there's still a lot going on. You're kind of always on your toes, and it definitely makes you excited to see where this is going to go. The fourth thing I love the tension. It is tense in a lot of places because you don't really know what's going to happen. There's a little bit of uncertainty in a lot of the events in this episode. There's some uncertainty on what's going to happen. There's some uncertainty on who you can trust and who you can't trust, and it makes for a really fun episode when you got tension and chaos. And the fifth thing I love the ending. It is a really good ending. It kind of like is a clever way to frame the ending. It is a good ending, and it makes you really excited to see what happens next. And the last thing I loved, hey, there was a lot of speculation in my last video, and when I finally like read everyone's comments and kind of thought about it, turns out I was right. I wrote something about what I thought, and I was right. So I love that I was right, and I love that you all were commenting on it and like following along and talking about what was happening, because that really made for an interesting discussion and an interesting week. So all that being said, there really wasn't much I didn't like about this episode. I really liked it. I thought it was good. It wasn't too long. I kind of wish it was longer. It was only 47 minutes, so it's nice and compact. It doesn't really let up on the gas throughout, and so it's a really good episode. It's been a really good series. I am very excited to see where this goes for the finale, episode 9 next week. So first, watch season 1, episode 8. It comes to Apple TV Plus on June 19th, 2024. And I'm going to go into a recap right now. So if you don't know what happens in this episode, I would turn it off because there will be spoilers. So in Dark Matter Season 1, Episode 8, like I said, it starts with a bang. You've got Science Jason and Charlie at home. Daniella's gone. She went to Ryan's to check on him because remember, Ryan appeared back. Science Jason went into another world, took Mechanic Ryan, brought him into this world, got him real drunk, and like treated him up to make him look like the Ryan from this world. And so he's back, but he's disoriented according to his girlfriend. He's like still kind of like coming out of being drunk. And so Daniela goes to check on him. Now, I like this because, Daniela is more worried about Ryan than Jason, which is weird because Jason and Ryan are really old friends. You would think that Jason, who found him, he like drove out to Indiana to go get him and bring him back because he was so concerned, and now isn't even going to go check on him now that he's awake. it seems a little odd, but it also shows like, the contrast here where Daniela would go out and to see him. She's probably interested in what Ryan has to say, but also that Jason, who should be going out to see him, isn't, and that's some of the cracks that have been forming in this overall relationship. So while Jason is there, he goes out into the alley to take out some trash, and when he's out there, boom, he gets attacked by another Jason. Someone comes behind him, tackles him. They fight. They are rolling around. That Jason has a knife, so it was possibly one of the Jasons that went to the knife store. You don't know, but Science Jason gets the upper hand, and he slams that Jason's head into the ground over and over until blood starts pulling out. And it is a brutal scene, but it also is like one that grabs you right from the start and really makes you realize like what is going on here. You've got Jasons coming back to attack Science Jason, and you're pretty sure it's not our family Jason, but you don't know. You don't know until later. So now Science Jason has a problem. There's a dead body. So he takes his body, he puts it in his garage. He's trying to like hide it. Charlie comes down, but Science Jason just like, has him go away. He like tells him to not worry about it. And so Science Jason is taking this body, and I guess he puts it in the trunk of his car. Now, Family Jason is at a hotel, and he is leaving. And as he's leaving, he sees another Jason, and they kind of see each other. They like kind of freeze. They Family Jason runs. The other Jason kind of pursues him. Family Jason loses him and ducks into his favorite bar, the Village Tap. And when he gets there, I think Mike is the bartender. He recognizes him and says, "Hey, back already?" And he's like, "You want the same?" And he's like, "Sure." And so he pours him a beer, and Family Jason looks over and sees another Jason. And so that Jason is there. He's drinking the same beer. That's why his friend was so confused, because he like saw him again, wanting another beer after he like basically just served him. So Family Jason goes down and sits with this other Jason. And this is interesting because they like update each other, and they had similar experiences. They made like similar choices, but at some point they diverted. And then you find out like what is happening. Basically, every choice that they made in the box, or that the original Family Jason made, kind of spawned off another world. And so, or at least another Jason who made a different choice. And that leads to other branches coming off. So every decision that they made, whether it was good or bad, had another kind of universe form. And then those Jasons in those other universes made other decisions that made almost like an infinite number of possibilities. And some of those Jasons didn't make it. Some of those Jasons didn't make it out. Some of those Jasons probably got stuck. Some of those Jasons died. Some of those Jasons, are stuck in whatever world, or maybe they decided to stop, like Amanda did in our Family Jason's world. Maybe they decided to stop in a good one. But some of those Jasons, of those infinite possibility of Jasons, came back, and they came back here with the same goal of reuniting with Daniela and Charlie. And so there are a number of Jasons with very different experiences, all here trying to do the same thing. So as they're talking about this, the other Jason, I'll call him Beanie Jason because he's wearing a beanie. He seems a little bit more rough. Like they were talking, and his Amanda died in like a dark world. Beanie Jason just made out. He's got like a scar on his face from, I assume, some sort of conflict that happened. And so he seems a little bit more like worse for wear. He seems a little bit more determined than our Family Jason. And so as they're talking, Beanie Jason has like a nice little like ultimatum. He's basically like, "I don't want to hurt you or anyone like us," basically anyone that has spawned off of Family Jason. But he also says he's not going to let anyone stop him from being with Daniela and Charlie. So that is going to be the conundrum that all the Jasons are dealing with. They all want the same thing. They all want to be with Daniela and Charlie. And so now they are rivals against each other. They don't want to hurt each other, but they do have a big goal. So we will see what happens. Now, the next morning, we see Family Jason. I think it's Family Jason wake up in like a park. I guess he slept in a park. I think even though he had a hotel, maybe he didn't feel that was safe. Maybe he wanted to, leave that place because there was a Jason that knew he was at the hotel. So he wakes up in a park fairly early, gets moving, and goes to a restaurant, and he eats at a restaurant. And after he's done, he starts smoking a cigar. And you're like, that's weird. Like our Jason doesn't smoke. Why would we do that? This obviously causes a scene with the restaurant goers. They say, "You can't do that. You can't smoke here." And he is, unapologetic. He basically keeps smoking. And eventually a cop comes. Dawn, our favorite psychopath from Science Jason's world, comes, and she is a cop in this world, and she arrests him. Takes money. And like, that was a really weird scene. Like that seemed very uncharacteristic for our Jason. I wonder why. Well, you find out later. So now we're back with Science Jason. Science Jason is getting ready to take Charlie to school, and Daniela asks to use the car. I think it's a Civic, whatever their normal car is. And Science Jason's like, no, no, I don't have gas in there. And she's like, is there no gas? He's like, just take Charlie's car. It's fine. He doesn't want Daniela to take his car because there is a dead body in the back. That would be a very kind of awkward thing. So Daniela takes Charlie's car. Jason drives Charlie to school. And on the way, Charlie talks about how Science Jason was going to take him to the University of Chicago to show him around. He promised. And I don't know if this was before, I don't know when this actually was, but Science Jason just kind of like forgot. I think maybe this was a promise from before, but that would be like a month ago. So it'd be weird that he would expect him to remember. But in any event, Science Jason doesn't remember, but decides, hey, let's go to University of Chicago anyways. They head over, and Science Jason gives him a tour. Now, while they're on their tour, another Jason pursues Science Jason. And this Jason has like a burned face. So he had another bad experience, but he has like a burned, scarred face, which also seems like that is a very quick healing for like a month. It seems like that would have been still maybe blistery or bloody, but it's fine. This burn Jason pursues them, and Science Jason is trying to like hurry Charlie along, but not let him see that there's another Jason following him. So he quickly goes to the library and then basically tells Charlie, like, go get the car. I'll meet up with you. And Charlie's like, I have my driver's permit. Like, I can't drive. I have my learner's permit. And he's like, just do it. It's fine. Charlie goes to get the car, and Science Jason goes to set a trap. Now he goes to the stacks, the library stacks. No one's there because no one reads books anymore. So it's a perfect place to have an ambush. He is in the stacks. He tries to like lose Burned Jason. Burned Jason follows him, and then eventually he like loses him, and Burned Jason goes into like a bathroom to look for him. That's when Science Jason tackles him, and they have a kind of gruff, brutal fight in the bathroom where Science Jason eventually gets like a full naked choke. I think that's what it is on Burn Jason and strangles him to death. And again, I was like, damn, like that is two bodies in like 2 days. One more, and Science Jason is a serial killer. I'm pretty sure it's three. I'm pretty sure three is where you draw the line for a serial killer. So one more body, and Science Jason is a serial killer. Also, this is the perfect crime because there's going to be no other DNA on dead body Jason. If they try pulling DNA, it's going to be the same DNA. So it is perfect. I mean, it's not perfect because he killed himself. Well, killed one of him, a version of him. But in terms of investigation, they're not going to be able to get anything. Everything is explainable. Yeah, of course the DNA is on there. It's him. So very smart. Not very smart though, because now there's a dead body in the University of Chicago. There's a dead body in Science Jason's trunk, and now there's a dead body in the bathroom of the University of Chicago. So Science Jason leaves in there and locks the bathroom stall, which is not going to last very long, and then heads out. Now, during this time, Daniela goes to Jason's storage locker, the storage locker she went to in the last episode, where she looked under and she saw that she grabbed some ampules, and that was all she was able to get out. Well, now she has backup. She has bolt cutters. So she cuts the lock, opens the storage locker, and inside she sees a bunch of weird stuff. She sees a phone with like surveillance like pictures of her when Science Jason was like following them around and trying to like get more information about them before he made his move and swapped. So Danielle thinks this is weird. It's like surveillance pictures of her. There are bags of all sorts of weird money, like American currency, but like if it was in a different game, obviously currency from like other worlds, other Jason worlds. Again, odd though. You would think that they would at least be kind of similar. Some of them are very out there, but hey, you know what? That's fine. I guess the currency can change a lot in whatever 20, 30 years, however long we've got this Jason trajectory. And she also sees a mechanic suit with Ryan's ID on it. So it's like it backs up Ryan's story if he's a mechanic. And she sees a box of ampules. So all sorts of weird stuff. Now, while she's interested, she gets a call. You don't know who it is. You don't know what happens next because now we're back to Science Jason's world. And because now we're back to Science Jason. Now, Charlie is driving the car and he's driving their Civic and some weird thing happens, like something bumps in the car. We know it's a body. Charlie doesn't know that. He thinks he like hit something, hit a curb, hit something. And so he stops the car to get out and look. And while he's there, a cop pulls up behind him because he's stopped in like the middle of a street. And that cop gets out and Charlie's like, oh, like so annoyed. We are annoyed because if this cop searches this car, there's a dead body in the back. So again, you're tense. You don't know what's gonna happen to Charlie. You don't know if this cop is gonna find this body. He goes up, he asks for license and registration. Charlie gives him his learner's permit. He, says, this is a learner's permit. Like, what's going on? That's when Science Jason is running. He comes up. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, officer. I'm sorry." And I was just waiting for the cop to like open the trunk or ask any other questions. Science Jason sweet talks him. He tells him like, "Oh, it was my fault. Like, I used to go here. I would give him a tour." He doesn't explain why Charlie was driving without him, but he sweet talks the cop enough to like have the cop just give him back his stuff and tell Charlie to be careful. So they jump in, they drive, and next we see Smoking Jason, who I think is Family Jason. So I'm just gonna call him Family Jason. Uh he is at the police station and Daniela went to pick him up. And when Daniela picks him up, she is angry, but Jason is like, I just need a way to talk to you alone. And she's like, what's going on? And he explains like that, the crazy story of what happened, how the person that is there is not actually him. And he proves it to her by basically saying, call him right now. And so she calls him and she calls, who she thinks is Jason. Another Jason picks up. She hangs up because she's so in shock. And Jason's like, hey, ask him about the vacation we took to the Keys last year. Say you want to do that again. And she's like, what are you talking about? Like, we didn't take a vacation. She's like, I know that, but he doesn't. And so when he calls back, Daniela picks it up and just, starts talking about how she loved the vacation in the Keys and she wants to go back. She thinks we should do that again this year. And he's like, yeah, definitely we should. And she's like, remember that house that we stayed at? That house with like the pink and white windows or something like that. He's like, oh yeah, I love that house. So now she knows that this person is telling the truth and that the person she's been living with, person that she has all these doubts about, that she's been having all these dreams, these like thoughts about, is an imposter. All of her fears were true. And now she thinks that this person is probably her husband. So yay. They arrange to meet up. And when she asks where they should meet, very cleverly, Jason is like, you have to pick it because he thinks exactly like me. So she picks the bean, the silver bean in Chicago. It's like, great. We'll need a safe word to make sure that it's me. And so she picks Jupiter, which is the name of the episode. The episode is Jupiter. So Daniela goes back. She is going back to, get Charlie. She like types out a message to him about like he has to stop. He's in danger. She doesn't send it, but she goes to her house. And when she gets there, Jason is packing up bags and he's like, we gotta go. Like, we have to leave. I'll explain later. We're in danger. And Danielle's like, what? He's like, just pack, just pack. So he loses his temper. It's not long, but you can tell that he is under a lot of stress, as you would be if you had, killed two people and, had an army of potential Jasons coming to fight you. So Daniela texts Charlie and almost gets caught because Charlie's phone is on the counter. But as Charlie's leaving to pack the car, she like gives him his phone to make sure he has it. So Charlie goes to pack the car. Daniela asks Jason to help her get like a suitcase from the basement. And so Jason's like, okay, sure. And when he takes a step on the stairs, Daniela pushes him down the stairs. So she has made her decision. She knows which Jason she wants to be with. That Jason falls down the stairs. We don't know if he's dead. He doesn't move. He's probably unconscious, but we don't know. Maybe Daniela's going to join the serial killer club. Who knows? But Daniela closes the door, locks it, and heads out. She and Charlie get in the car. They drive. And as they're driving, a car pulls up and it's Jason. And he's like, get in, get in. And Daniela goes in, but she doesn't ask the safe word. She just goes in because she's in so much stress. She just gets in the car and they drive. And as they're driving, this Jason starts explaining like, hey, like, you're not going to believe this, but the person you've been living with is an imposter. Basically like the same speech that she had just heard. And Daniela is like, no, like, I don't want, like, stop, let me out. And he's like, no, it's true. It's true. Daniela wants to get out because I think she's fixated that the Jason at the bean is her Jason, and she doesn't want this Jason or any other Jason. It seems like she is chosen. So she wants him to get out. So she wants to get out. She tells him to stop. He doesn't. But as he's going through an intersection, another car comes and boom, hits that car. Both cars spin out. It's another Jason. Another Jason was trying to stop them to get Daniela. Daniela is dazed, but she is okay. Charlie is dazed, but okay. They both get out of the car and they start running. And both Jasons start saying, Daniela, Daniela, stop. And so you can see the chaos that is happening here, where you've got like multiple Jasons all trying to get Daniela and stop each other. And so Daniela and Charlie are somehow able to escape. I don't know how. Like, I feel like these Jasons are mildly injured. They should be able to get out. I guess the door was, stuck, but he could climb out of a window. Sure. Anyways, Daniela and Charlie are able to get out. They run and they get to the bean, and that is where I assume Family Jason, I assume our Family Jason that we've been following is there. Daniela says, say it. And Jason like hesitates a little bit and they're like, oh, come on, say it. And then he finally says Jupiter. And then he goes over and hugs Charlie. So I think this was the right response because he hadn't seen Charlie in forever, and now he's finally able to hug his son. He was able to see Daniela earlier. Daniela just like watches him, and it seems like this is kind of, it's kind of a selection, right? This is the most clever Jason. This is the Jason that didn't resort to violence. He came up with a plan that wouldn't put anyone at risk. I guess maybe he put the people in the restaurant at risk. They were he was smoking, so secondhand smoke, a little tiny bit of risk, but he didn't like hurt anyone else. He didn't hurt any of the other Jasons. He didn't like try to kidnap them. He came up with a plan to get Daniela there and explain to him and then show her like why he was right. So I think A, this is our family Jason. He is the one that has not been like scarred by horrible, horrible other experiences. And he seems to be like the right Jason for this world and this family. So they are together. They are there, but I don't know, Jason. Like, you might have wanted to stay with Amanda in that super world. Like, that world was awesome. And then you don't have an army of other Jasons that you now have to fight, like Neo against Agent Smith style, like Kill Bill style, as they're all trying to get to your Daniela. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if there's going to be like a council of Jasons. I don't know if they're going to like come to a consensus. I don't know if they're just going to like disappear, or maybe they're all going to go into the box to find another world where there aren't 100 Jasons looking for Daniela. I don't know what's going to happen next, but that is season 1, episode 8. So I guess, yeah, some speculation. What do we think is going to happen? Well, I think this is Family Jason. I think this is Family Jason. I think this is the Jason that we know and love because he was like the most clever. He came up with a clever idea. He didn't hurt anyone. He didn't like kill anyone. He came up with an idea that got Daniela there and got Charlie there without hurting anyone and also kind of kept them safe, right? Like he didn't put them in danger knowingly. So I think this is our Jason. There are still many other Jasons trying to get Daniela. Now, is our Jason going to flee and just try to like bounce out? Is our Jason going to enter the box? Is there something he can do to like push the other Jasons into another world? Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I feel like there might be some more violence, but I feel like our Jason is going to just try to like avoid it all. Maybe hide out, maybe go back into the box because he doesn't have any ampules, but Daniela knows that there are ampules in the locker. So I don't know. Maybe they will use those ampules to try to get to that to try to get to that super world, the world that Amanda's in, the like really nice utopia world. And remember, Jason has that picture. I think he probably still has that picture of them in Utopia World. So maybe he can use that to go to that world and reunite with Amanda and maybe start a new life there with him and Charlie and Daniela. And I don't know, maybe their Ryan is there too. Maybe they can all be reunited in this like perfect world. That would be maybe my guess. Like maybe he'll use those ampules. I don't know though. Like maybe he will become a killer and kill all the other Jasons. I don't think so, but it's possible. Who knows? Everything is a possibility. Everything is in superposition right now. Everything is crazy, but that is season 1, episode 8. Jupiter is coming to Apple TV Plus on June 19th, 2024. And definitely watch it. Definitely watch the rest of Dark Matter. It's been a fantastic journey, and I'm excited to see where it ends. So, if you do check it out, let me know what you think. Let me know what you liked, didn't like. Let me know what I missed. I'm sure there's stuff that I missed. Let me know what your thoughts are, what you think the finale is going to be like. And I'd love to hear it all. I really liked the discussion this week. And hey, I'd love some more. So, thanks so much for watching. If you like this review, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.